Just the other day, I stood in the corner of Ponyville's Main Street, playing the latest experimental number on my lyre. I decided to call it Lunar Elegy No. 7. It was the same tune that I'd been attempting to flesh out all week. You know the one. I wrote about it in my last letter. It's the tune that I awoke to during that stormy night, the one that almost knocked the tree over into my carrot garden. I'd always felt that it was an omen, and finding a way to write down this melody would somehow benefit my quest in the end. And so far, though, I hadn't noticed any magical qualities to the tune, but that was probably just because I hadn't seen Twilight or played it to her yet. Miss Sparkle always has the solutions. She's gifted like that. Now, if only she could put those talents to making music herself, I'm certain she'd make Princess Celeste even prouder. Oh, shoot, I always get sidetracked with these entries. Anyway, I was in the corner of Ponyville's Main Street. I was playing on my lyre, and, well, I'd been running short on money as of late, so I'd brought the jar with me. It didn't take long for the citizens of Ponyville to show their gracious qualities. In less than 2 hours, I had earned nearly 25 bits. I'd gotten more than that, of course. Several smiles and appreciative grins were thrown my way, too. I merely said nothing. I kept playing my music. I must have looked so engrossed. Little did every pony know that I was observing them with as much attention as they were regarding me. Carrot Top was the first to donate, of course. I've written about her before. She's usually up and about earlier than any other Ponyvillian soul, and she trots back and forth across the village the most, considering all of the random jobs she juggles around town. That day, she tossed a bit into my jar and just smiled at me. I remember that same face stained with dirt and flakes of grass at the end of a day when she taught me how to plant a garden. She waved at me like it was the first time ever, for it was, for her, and then she was gone. The mayor strolled by next. Her mane looked less gray that day. I wonder if she'd changed dyes recently. Anyway, the mayor is a fantastic pony. If Ponyville was any other town, the elected leader would likely disapprove of the musical riff-raff like myself. Mayor is obviously made of far more cultured stuff. She gave me a smile, praised my talents, and tossed a golden bit into the jar before trotting off. I wonder if she ever got the nerve to speak to her daughter. She's really preoccupied with that emotional wedge that's been driven between the two of them of late. She'd never tell any pony about how sad she's been. Not like the one time I roped her into confessing all that to me. It was a heartfelt conversation over tea that we once had. I'll always remember it, for her sake if not for mine. Several more ponies trotted by as the day waxed past the bright noon. All the while I was practicing Elegy No. 7. The fact that other ponies were enjoying my music or dropping coins my way was just a fringe benefit. Magically, I plucked each string of the lyre and practiced precision, repeating the tune over and over again. But no pony ever complained about the repetition. I never expected them to. The only awkward glances I got were aimed at the sweater jacket I was wearing, the one that I always wear in these excursions into town. I thought that I'd gotten used to that, just like I'd gotten used to the chills that come with the melodies I wake up to. Still, I couldn't complain. I simply had to keep practicing the elegy. I knew that only Twilight Sparkle could help me figure out what the tune meant, just like most of the others before it, but that didn't stop me from trying to feel it on my own, for as long as I could afford to. And then there was Rarity. The sight of that gorgeous mane and her sparkling eyes nearly broke my concentration as she paused on her way to the general store to listen to me. "My, what a heavenly tune," were her exact words. She dropped 3 whole bits into the jar, more than any pony else. I always feel bad when it happens, but a part of me thinks that Rarity needs to be more generous than other ponies to experience her generosity, so I played my part, especially when she leaned forward with that sympathetic look to say, "But dear, you're so positively freezing. Tell me, are you ill?" It was true. My teeth were chattering, and no, it wasn't an act. When the chills really come, there's not much I can do to stop them. My hoodie's always been that first line of defense against these inexplicable side effects of this curse. I can't even pretend to explain that to any of the ponies that I meet. If I bundle up like my shivering body silently screams at me too, then even more ponies than Rarity would stop to ask me the same question, over and over again. "Oh, I'm perfectly fine, ma'am," I remember replying to her. I usually don't respond when I'm in the middle of playing, but I'm a unicorn, and I can afford to multitask. My blood temperature is just a little lower than the average pony's. That was a lie. Relatively speaking, everything I say to these villagers is a lie. After all, even when it's truth, has the same effect on them. "I cannot stand to see gifted musicians such as yourself freezing to death," Rarity said. Then she did something that I should have predicted. She reached into that saddlebag of hers and produced a yellow scarf. "Here, darling, keep it as long as you like." Her smile sparkled as much as the glowing telekinesis she used to float the golden article in my direction. Clearly, I didn't have much of a choice in the matter. That didn't make accepting her gift any easier. "Oh, thank you, ma'am." I smiled and paused in playing the elegy to wrap the scarf around my neck. To attempt a polite refusal would have been a bit too complicated at the time. "You're too kind." "Oh, I can make 100 more like it back at my boutique. Besides, yellow is not my color, but it does match your eyes so delightfully so." Rarity smiled. Some beautiful faces last forever in the mind's eye. Rarity's is not an exception. "You should stop by sometime. I'll make you a new sweater jacket. Yours is nice, but I dare say it's starting to look a bit worn in." I giggled and smiled. "Thanks, I'll think about it." "You do just that." Rarity trotted off and hummed her own whimsical version of the tune that I was playing, and she disappeared into the front entrance of the general store across the way. I continued playing my music, warmed more by the serenity of Rarity's generosity than the actual thickness of the scarf that she'd given me. The afternoon was drifting by. A crimson glow gave the many coats of ponies a bright shine as the sun lowered towards the western horizon. I must have played the lunar elegy 10 times before I saw Rarity trotting back with a full saddlebag of newly bought things. I can't lie. My heart sank a little when she immediately strolled my way and dropped 3 golden bits into my jar. "My, what a heavenly tune," she said, then leaned toward me. "But, dear, you look positively freezing. Tell me, are you ill?" It was a little harder to smile this time. Nevertheless, I murmured gently above the melody I was still making. "Oh, I'm perfectly fine, ma'am." I couldn't help but add a wink. "As a matter of fact, a very kind mare gave me this scarf not an hour ago." "Well, she must be a pony of exceptional taste," Rarity said with avid admiration. "It does match your eyes so delightfully so. You should stop by the boutique sometime. I can make you a new sweater jacket. Yours is nice, of course, but it looks a little worn in, right?" "Yes, I was just about to say that," Rarity exclaimed, her breath escaping her in a gasp. "Do you read minds besides playing such gorgeous music?" "Something like that," I said. "I'll be sure to drop by your lovely boutique sometime, ma'am." "You do just that." And then she was gone, once more humming, once more an elegant and carefree stranger.